Hi everybody, today we're going to look at a solution to the census problem. This is just a proposed solution. There are many solutions. In this problem, we're going to enter how many people live in houses into an array. Okay, so the worker is going to visit a house, ask how many people live here, and then push that number into an array. Also, we're going to record if school children live in the house. So we're going to count every time we visit a house that has school children. So if we visit 5 houses and 3 of them have school children in, then the count will be 3. Okay. Also, we're going to develop a menu-driven solution to this problem. So the worker can press 1 in the computer program to enter people, 2 to update the count, and 3 to quit. Okay, something like that. You can be creative with that. So let's just go into Replit and let's just put in some comments here. The first thing I'm going to do is set up an array to store the people data. Then I'm going to set up a variable to store the count. Move that over there for a minute. Then I'm going to display a menu to get the choice. So let's display the menu, and then we're going to get the choice. Now we're going to do this many times, not just one time. So this will guarantee we do it one time. Now let's create a loop and to deal with the choice. Well, let's look at that in a minute. We need to get into a loop so that we visit many houses, right? So we're going to create a loop. We're going to deal with the choice that was made. Maybe the choice was enter data, or maybe the choice was update count. Maybe the choice was quit. Anyway, we're going to deal with the choice. We're going to display the menu so that we can get the next choice. So that's my loop. That's all my loop's doing. It's dealing with the choice that I make, it's displaying the menu, and it's allowing me to get the next choice. So that's all my loop. And when the program is finished, we're going to display some results. Okay. So let's just start with setting up the array. The problem says that each task force worker will visit up to 500 street addresses. So that's probably going to be the maximum size of my array. So let's just do that. How do we do that? Let's say houses equals an array, and I'm just going to push zeros into that array, and I'm going to have 500 of them. So there's a way of quickly generating an array in Python, which has 500 elements, and each element is going to store 0 initially. That's all. So if I was to do print houses right now, I should see 500 zeros. There we go. So there we've got all of our zeros. So we have an array, and at the moment, each element stores 0. Bingo. So let's set up a variable to store count. That's a bit easier. Now let's display the menu. So enter 1 to input house, number of house members, or occupants, or whatever. So that's my first menu item. Print enter 2 to update. Enter 2 to update school children count. And print enter 3 to quit. Okay, so now let's get the choice. That should be enough. I'm just going to use int input to get the choice, which will be an integer. Now then, we're going to go into the loop now. So while choice doesn't equal 3, right? 3 means quit. So while it's not equal to 3, we're gonna do stuff. Whoops. I'm just going to stay within my comments that I've made. So let's just create the loop. And now let's deal with the choice. Okay? So if choice is the same as 1, that means we're going to input the number of occupants in the house. Okay? So let's just put a little prompt, enter number, and then we're going to say num equals input. We need to get an integer from the keyboard, and that's the number that we're going to push into the array. So what did I call my array? Houses. So houses, what's the index here? Well, if this is the first time I'm doing it, the index will be 0. So we need another variable, don't we, for this while loop. Set up the array control variable. I'm just going to call it I, and I'm going to assign it an initial value of 0. So in the loop, this is in the loop, houses I will be assigned num. And then of course we need to prepare I for the next time there's some input. So we increment I equals I plus 1. That's now ready for the next element in the array to be processed. So that's if choice equals 1, we're going to get the number of occupants in the house, we're going to push it into the array, and we're going to update the array index to get ready for the next entry. Okay? If choice equals 2, if choice equals is the same as 2, we're simply going to update the count. So this is the count of school children in the house. Are there school children in the house? Okay? So count equals count plus 1. And let's just print out a message so that the user knows what's going on. There are now count houses with school children. So that's if choice equals 2, and then if I think those are the only choices, right? If choice equals 3, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to quit. How do we do that? Because I want to display the menu again. Let's see what happens. I have an idea. Let's go down to display the menu. We already have that code. It's up here. Yay! So let's just copy and paste that and get the next choice. Display the menu and get the next choice. This is all happening in the loop. So display the menu and get the next choice. We already have that code. So I'm just going to push it in there. Make sure it's inside the while loop. This is all inside the while loop. Whoops. There you go. Okay. So we've dealt with the valid choices 1 and 2. Then we display the menu. I only want to display this menu if the choice doesn't equal 3. So I'm just going to say if choice doesn't equal 3, which was quit, I'm going to do this. Does that seem reasonable? And then we're going to display some results. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's just run this program and see if it works. Enter 1 to input the number of house occupants, enter 2 to update school children count, and enter 3 to quit. I'm going to quit and just see what happens. Brilliant. So the program just finished. Let's run it again. Enter 1 to input number of house occupants. Enter number. So there were 4 people in the first house. enter 1, so let's do it again. We visited the next house now. There were 6 people in this house. Then we're going to visit another house, and there are 2 people in that house. I'm going to visit the 4th house, so I'm going to enter 1 again. At the 4th house, there are 5 people in the house, and there are school children. So there are now 1 houses with school children. Okay, I'm going to visit the next house. There are 4 people in this house, and yes, there are school children, so we'll update that. There are now 2 houses with school children. Okay, so hopefully that process is kind of making sense to you. It might take a little bit of time to absorb some of this, but let's just review what we've done. We've set up an array to store all of our occupant data. We've created a variable to manage the count. We're just displaying a menu and getting a choice. And then we're going to go into a while loop. Now, hopefully you understand why I've had to create a variable here to control the array. Okay? If choice equals 1, we're going to get the number of occupants. We're going to update the array, and we need to get ready to go to the next index for the next data entry opportunity. Okay? So that's how that works. And if choice equals 2, we're simply updating the count. And then we're going to display the menu again. This was my technique for only displaying the menu if the choice wasn't equal to 3. We'll have to play with that idea. I'm not sure if that's wholly necessary. Experience tells me it is. And display the results, guys. Hopefully you know how to do that. I'm just going to say print houses. Let's just do that. And what was the other thing that we had to do? I'm just about to run out of time, so I'll try and do the first one. When the program is finished, it will output the total number of people entered. So let's have a look at that. For I in range len houses. Oh, we do need to make a variable called total. Just set it to 0. Then we're going to loop through the array, and we're going to say total equals total plus houses I, and that's the for loop doing the processing. And when it's finished, let's print the result. There are total people in the system. Alright, I'm going to stop there, and hopefully you can figure out other aspects of the problem with regard to the results.